Effective knowledge management is essential for the success of any transportation organization. It enables agencies to avoid the disruption and productivity loss often associated with retirements or employee turnover. It is aimed at making sure that the workforce has the knowledge needed to meet both current and emerging needs. The result is more effective use of available resources, more informed decisions, and greater capacity to adapt to changing circumstances. The National Cooperative Highway Research Project, supporting state DOT adoption of knowledge management practices, was designed to facilitate greater adoption of KM practices by sharing results of the rich base of prior research on KM. It recognizes the importance of documenting the experiences of early KM adopters so that other agencies may benefit from their progress. This video series highlights some of the results of this project. It explores the development of knowledge management at state DOTs through 5 case studies featuring KM practitioners. At the Maryland State Highway Administration, or Maryland SHA, the knowledge management program is built on 4 core pillars designed to drive organizational excellence. 1. Mitigating knowledge loss. Ensuring critical knowledge is retained permanently. 2. Making knowledge findable. Centralizing resources so employees can work efficiently. 3. Supporting innovation. Creating environments where offices can share knowledge effectively. Lastly, 4. Improving organizational performance. Promoting the value of knowledge sharing to boost overall agency performance. To explain why Maryland SHA prioritized these goals, here's Chris Loki, the Information and Knowledge Management Officer.
So initially I heard that KM was part of the agency's performance and excellence initiative in 2005, but I think there was a connection with the continuous quality improvement program that predates that for centralizing training criteria for SHA employees. That program just provided alignment for the workforce planning activities. Officially in 2021, SHA brought on the KM position and made the team official during a reorg. And there were 2 main points that needed attention. The first one was records management and meeting compliance requirements, having to update record retention schedules, which were severely outdated at the time, and the requirement asked us to do that every 2 years. So there wasn't anyone to man the records management portion, but also the second part pertained to directives and SOPs, where SHA needed to institutionalize a process for developing, storing, and making policy documents accessible. Some other factors during that time, 2021, let's not forget about COVID-19. So every office was switching over to digital and being able to telework. That was a firestorm in itself, but eventually we got everything managed and it all worked out. We're following MDOT policy, which they have a great maintenance and repository on their website. So we wanted to match that, formalize the document approval process with that centralizing ability.
To turn these goals into reality, Maryland SHA placed its KM unit within the Office of Policy and Research. The agency's first step towards supporting innovation and sharing was building a digital home for KM. Launched in 2022, the KM SharePoint site serves as the primary hub for spreading awareness. To help employees communicate effectively, the site features an acronyms and buzzwords repository, allowing staff to submit updates so the agency's shared vocabulary is accessible and current. To further foster a culture of knowledge sharing, the KM team organizes a Lunch and Learn series. By partnering with various offices to deliver presentations, they provide a regular platform for employees to learn new techniques and exchange ideas directly. Perhaps the most significant effort towards making knowledge findable is Maryland SHA's Centralized Standard Operating Procedure, or SOP, repository. This initiative was a significant undertaking, developed over 12 months to establish a single, authoritative source for agency procedures. The Standard Operating Procedure repository isn't just a simple storage folder. It's a tool that allows staff to search by document type, office, or keyword, and even view the revision history of agency directives. Crucially, Maryland SHA focused on the people side of this technology. They designated and trained standard operating procedure liaisons within business units to serve as dedicated points of contact. These liaisons provide the bottom-up support necessary to keep the repository's content fresh and accurate. As of the end of 2024, roughly 2/3 of Maryland SHA's divisions and districts had trained liaisons. The results of these efforts are tangible. Beyond simply centralizing documents, Maryland SHA has established a sustainable, repeatable process for creating and maintaining authoritative information on core agency procedures.
Absolutely. So we use a standardized template for formatting directives, SOPs, and other supporting documents. We also have an SOP for developing new and updating existing SOPs. And we shaved that process down to just 4 main steps, as opposed to the original 13-step process that was just super rigorous. So we streamlined the process, and we'd be happy to share that template with consistency for any state agency to use.
In addition to its current initiatives, Maryland SHA has identified 3 priority areas for the continued evolution of its knowledge management program to help mitigate knowledge loss, make information more findable, support innovation, and improve organizational performance. First, there's continued KM outreach. The agency intends to periodically review and refresh its website and KM resource materials to ensure they stay up to date. Importantly, they also plan to expand their outreach efforts to specifically include field operations units. Next, regarding the Standard Operating Procedure Repository, Maryland SHA plans to continue expanding the system incrementally by working directly with individual office liaisons. To make operations more efficient, they also aim to incorporate automation into the workflow for SOP updates and their associated approvals. Finally, the agency is looking to develop new knowledge management tools supporting knowledge transfer and sharing lessons learned. Here's one last piece of advice from Chris Loki for other agencies that have been inspired by Maryland SHA's KM program.
The best advice that I can give other DOTs is that I highly recommend to have a leadership sponsor, and they must identify a need. That's really a key component because, once you select dedicated staff, they have to have a clear goal ahead of them. So starting with a narrowed issue that needs resolved, putting that person in charge and to lead the solution for that, applying knowledge management practices must be highly persistent, engaging, and got to make the effort. So with dedication, persistence, and making the initiative, you have to show small success and keep building on that. So leadership, dedicated staff, initiative, and start small on a very specific goal.
That concludes our overview of the Maryland State Highway Administration case study. We encourage you to explore the other resources linked in the description of this video, both for this case study and for the other 4 agencies included in NCHRP Project 2044-45. Thank you for watching.